Good morning, good morning. Today we're going to be taking a look at some XRP, some liquidity, and the Sigma coin. So, all right, so it officially happened. We got our red dot to form here on the XRP price action for the 3-day. We've been cautious and concerned about this, going ever since we saw it flashing back over here, back and forth. And we saw this kind of rollover happening in the larger momentum level here. We managed to hold on fairly long. But as of yesterday, 5 o'clock, capitulation, and now we're already officially now in the red dot. Okay, so let's talk some strategies on this dot indicator and things that you want to look at. So let's just say you just simply play the dot indicator. It goes off, you do the thing, and you don't think beyond that. You would have entered in here at $1.84, would have had this potential 27% up run here on this, and then ultimately took it all back, and you would have lost. Right when the open happened, you would have exited, and you would have lost 5.59% on your position. This is just purely following the dot indicator. This one over here was also another fake where we had a breakout and then another sweep of the lows. This one would have been a 13% loss that you would have shouldered here because you would have entered right when the indicator told you, and then you would have gone in and been over here on this exit, and then eventually gotten this, back in again, and then lost this portion. So you would have given back these two chunks here. But despite that, you would have still avoided this 44% pullback to this entire region here. So you'd still be doing okay. You'd be annoyed, of course, that it's just kind of chopping on you, but you also would be sleeping at night because you would have already been avoiding this percentage pull down on it. So now that's just the purest, simplest, just do the thing when it tells you to do the thing, right? As you can see, there's wicks that kind of play around here. So we'll come back to this view, and I want to kind of give you an idea of what I think this price action is looking like from past XRP price action. So now jumping into the 4-hour, we refined this a little bit, okay? So the 4-hour indicator, you can see it's all over the place, right? So you'll have in, out, in, out, in, out, all through here, lots of chop, all this other stuff. But when it does go, it tends to catch the move. So for example, after you get chopped up through here, just kind of going in and out and in and out through these small little moves, which are minor percentages, eventually you hit this guy right here and it runs, right? And then this one would tell you to actually get out of the coin way up here, and this was a 22% upside that you would have claimed if you were running the XRP trade here on the 4-hour. So we have this indicator running as well for the community. And as you can see, it gets there. But what the part is when these runs do happen, it avoids a lot of pain. So the indicator went off the other day, 5 p.m. on the 28th, told you had about 8 hours to get out of the indicator when it told it to you overnight at 9 p.m. So you exit, you would have avoided this entire drawdown. Now we're looking on the 4-hour, completely oversold. So this is just a forced liquidations as they're trying to sweep as much liquidity as they can to the downside. The indicator has yet to flip green, but when it does, the expectation is that we should have a pretty good reversion to mean. And in English, that means we'd come back up to here, right? Which is where all these people who got caught would want to sell. So all these people who got caught and want to sell are up here. Then you've got areas of inefficiency. So we've got $1.87 as one area. A lot of people are right here, so it's going to be probably hard. You maybe get up to $1.87. This was a wick, and then it just goes boom. That's probably your biggest spot there. So $1.87 is an extremely important area that we need to watch. If we can somehow move past all of this and continue grinding higher, well, this is the key magic level. If this count is this 5-wave move to the downside, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we finished it, we're done, right? This was our target area of $1.68, and we are now at $1.67. So this is good for what you're looking for the long. And this would be the completion of a 5-wave move down to finish the 5th, and we could probably just start working our way out of here now. So that's one scenario. Alternatively, we had talked about this yesterday, where this entire move would be wave 1, 2, and rather than being this count right here, we would actually expand this, and we would see this entire move over here as the wave 3, right? So this would be our wave 3 move, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for wave 3. Then we get the roll up into this section again, just like I said, which would be roll up to wave 4, right? And so, roll up into this body of email for wave 4. This would be the expectation, and then another quick liquidation down into this 140 to 150 region. This would be perfect for liquidating as many people as possible because everybody's seeing this breakdown. So they're piling into the shorts, capitulating all the people, give the exit back into the 180s, 190s. Can't sustain a breakout above this region here, which is the 203. And because we can't get above the 203, we only get back up to like right here, maybe even a little bit sweep higher to get you really close, right? You're feeling good. And then whoop, some event occurs, right? And we can see prices potentially as low as the 150s, 140s. But what we're mainly looking at when we go into this, we're going to zoom out on this, is we're looking at where did liquidity sit to the left here, okay? So in these flat structures, we're going to have these pockets of liquidity right here. So we're going to show these here real fast. So we've got this batch of liquidity right here, okay? And then we've got another one right here at this guy. So this was another spot that we have these two areas that probably a lot of demand will come back into in it. So the idea being is we could probably come back up, close out the late shorts who saw this move coming, get them all closed. Then when that's done, we roll over and maybe we hit like $1.46, something like that. Maybe we come down and do a cascading wick into the dollars. So these are our areas that we would look to expect price action to get back down to. And you can see that we got really close and tagged this -3 deviation. Well, that -3 deviation is down at around $1.30 right now. So I could expect potentially at an extreme level a $1.30 break. But again, the thought being this would be after we roll back up here to this level here at $4 now. So that's the thesis because the wave counts are here. I mean, I suppose we could have, that's what I'm kind of leaning towards. Now, this is what we got right now. Looks fairly clean, right? This could be the bottom. This could be the bounce, and we shouldn't just go straight down because we don't have a wave 4 in here, right? So you're not going to have the fifth wave exceed wave 3, right? So if this is wave 3, then we should probably come up shorter. So I would say maybe like $1.46 is probably this fib right here is probably the area. So anyway, so that's kind of what we're watching. So they're just forcing these liquidations early morning, weekend, low liquidity, catch as many people as they can, get that emotional trigger, make people go, oh no, it's happening. So, but the key takeaway ultimately is when we click back to our 4-hour, the notice that was given to the Sigma community was through having was right here at $1.87. This is when you were told to leave the party right there. So you would have avoided all of this excitement here, and you would be up in your position 10%, 11% right now in what you'd be looking at. You could have even opened a short if you wanted to, but you could just exit to RLUSD, reacquire here, and you'd have a 10% bag increase just on this as soon as the 4-hour clicks over. So that may be another 4 to 12 hours, I think, before this happens, but it's definitely oversold. A lot of people are bidding this area, and you can see by these wicks, and they're just getting kind of closed out. So everyone is trying to bottom fish to see what we happen here. But again, my suspicion is we roll up somewhere into this area here, anywhere between $1.89 to maybe we sweep it a little bit higher, and we get up to here to like just teasing it to like $2, and then roll over and do that last cascade. There'll be some event, Iran war, whatever they want to put into the narrative to get this final sweep, if this is the correct count. So this is what we're watching for. So 203 is our big target indicator. Weather the pain a little bit longer, exit, some price action on the 4-hour. Especially when this thing flips over, you do have time, and then capitulation city is in play. So that's how we're looking at the short-term time frames. So the takeaway, jumping back to this 3-day, you'd be down 5% if you had just exited now, and you can weather the storm or do everything else. You can even do that, but if you had ran the 4-hour indicator, which we had, you would have had the ability to catch this move and be told back up here at on the 6th of January, back up at 2:30 to exit, and you could have just sat on your hands and waited, because you don't have to play each of these indicators. It's not necessary. You can, but you need to kind of look at where you are in the larger playing field. So if this just did that, you see liquidity gaps here and even down here, and now we're below all of that, then it's expected that you would at least take back a fib, right? So you'd be back in this region. You can see a lot of people were bidding these fibs right here. We hit the 786 or the 886. As soon as that happens, you backtest the hopefully the 618, but you back test back up again, and then it's not sustainable. So these 886s are very important to recognize as areas where we hit, and then you're going to go back up, and then you're going to lose. So that's really the key, is if you see this 886 hit, which is right here, then you're not going to make it, right? You're going to roll over one more time. So, all right, so we're already seeing bids being caught here at this level here on the 4 hour. I expect this to turn back up. I expect a relief rally back up into this region, and then the rollover, and the liquidity is supporting this. Here's all your late shorts at the $1.80 saying, hey, I was late to the party. I think it's going to keep going, and little do they know they're now the target. And we zoom out to the 3-month. There's I think some batch of liquidity to the downside. Yeah, so look at all this. We got the stack liquidity. They could come down and try to get all this, right? So they get down to the $1.50s and 30s and all that other stuff. There's a ton here, but we do have liquidity up at $1.60. So I think liquidity squeeze back up into this region is likely, but they're really aiming for this. So get everybody on board, get everybody longing. That was it, and then flip them all back the other direction and take it down to potentially as low as $1.36 for a wick to close out everybody, even maybe $1.23. So big potential here, but this is a great potential money making opportunity. And with that, you can see that the XRP's price action has been just grinding down Sigma this whole time. Buys are actually outstripping sells, which is interesting. Yet price action go down because XRP's price action happens. So if we get a bounce from here from XRP, it is likely that we will probably see the Sigma coin recover nicely as well. So we're just waiting for that to happen. But the good news, if anybody wanted to get these indicators, all you need is 160 million Sigma, and you too can have access to the Discord, where it would have told you on the 4 hour to not own XRP back here at $1.88 versus $1.67. You could just be buying this because you don't care anymore. So because you already saved 11%, you're already up 10%, so you just buy it, right? You exit, wait, and you can do the human thing, or you just wait for this thing to turn green, and away you go. So yes, that's basically trust the indicators. This is my larger thought, though, for this liquidation event. This could be it, but we're going to know our level is 203.09. If we can get past that, then we win, and we can start getting out of here. And then the thesis is just DCing back into the situation. So we'll talk about that at that time. But that's our main view. So hopefully that was helpful. This is kind of how we're looking at the short-term price action. To recap, we have either a completed 5 waves, or we have one more surprise that's going to come into play. This price action, excuse me, here has been told that we got down for the meantime, which is what our indicator on the 3-day did. This indicator on the 3-day ultimately matches a very similar price profile back here, where we got down to the lows. It turned red. It actually bounced back up, as you can see here, and then closed down. And then you can see from this end, we actually went lower and then lower again. So you still had another 6 days or a week before the liquidation came into play. That bounce coming in first. So we'll see if that plays out here for this current price action. And then finally, Sigma coin is working on finding a bottom, but you got a great discount to get into the Discord. So all right, guys, so we'll continue to watch the price. Oh, yeah, so look at that. They tricked the longs again. They said, oh, it's going to go. And now they're sweeping them again and just keep pushing the price down. So we may get our targets here today. We'll find out. So, all right, guys, we will check in soon, but definitely oversold on the 4 hour, and we will see how this plays. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll talk tomorrow.